All right, everybody. So we are now live on YouTube. And today we're going to be covering real estate marketing strategies, specifically from the buyer side standpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get things started with you guys so that we can get through this today. So this is going to be a 3-part training series that we are going to do. You can see we've got a table of contents here. Today we're going to be covering the buyer strategies. And so these are the ones that we have personally found that work the best, give you the highest level of volume of leads, and give you guys the best level of conversion as well. So we're going to be covering IDX catalog ads today. We're going to be covering home list ads. We're going to be covering just listed for your newest listings that you have, running those types of ads out to generate buyers. We're going to be covering a very awesome ad that we ran about 1.5 years ago for one of our clients that performed extremely well. It's homes that you can buy for your current rent. And this was a really awesome strategy that brought in a lot of good leads based off of that. We're also going to cover buyer's guides and buyer seminars. So you guys, we're going to showcase and tell you a little bit about what that ad is, give you guys some examples of what they look like, and then how you should best follow up with that lead so that you can see the highest level of success and really go and close more business. So the IDX catalog ad, this is one that all EXP agents have access to, and you guys can run. Essentially what this is it's an IDX of all the listings that are housed by your office that can go into Facebook in the form of a catalog, and then you can advertise 5 listings at a time. You can pick the price ranges and all those kinds of things of the listings that you want to display. But this is a fantastic ad for generating buyers because you're putting exactly what they want in front of them. So today's buyer is more interested in the listing than they are the agent. And it's been that way for a very long time, since Zillow and Trulia opened the doors and started giving information to the public and essentially became the Kelly Blue Book of real estate, giving you an option for how much your home could be worth per estimate and all of that good stuff. This is where homeowners or home shoppers began doing their research on their own and looking online. So these folks typically shop online for about 90 days prior to reaching out to an agent. And by placing this ad back in front of them, you're showcasing exactly what they're looking for. And you're also putting an extremely powerful follow-up mechanism in place so that you can convert this lead at a good level. Now, this is exactly what this ad is going to look like. There's going to be a display of the very first image in the MLS of that particular listing. And then it will dynamically display certain pieces of information that you would like to have on that carousel in the individual slide. So consider each one of these images with text below it, its own listing and its own slide. And so Facebook's catalog is going to pull the first image of the listing and display it. And then you can actually select what pieces of information you want to be displayed in the headline. And so the dynamic display that you can get here is the number of beds, the number of baths. If it's a multifamily, the number of units that are available, the price of the property, the address, the city, the state, and the zip. If it's a particular region, you can add that. It really doesn't pertain here in the US for region, but it is a field that you can use as a dynamic display for these type of ads. The year that the property was built, the number of days on market, which I think is a really cool one to be able to display. The listing URL, if you just want to drive somebody directly to that listing in your KV core, or your guys' listing description. So it'll give the description, oh, this beautiful home on a ranch, da, 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 da. You can utilize that description, but you only have a certain number of characters that you can use. And so what we have found works the best, we've tested just about everything under the sun with these. What we have found works the best is if you're displaying the number of beds, baths, and the price of that home on your particular ad. And we're seeing on these an average $3.12 per lead is what you guys could expect from running a carousel ad like this. Now, certain areas, there's going to be a higher cost because there's more competition. So you guys, I'm going to show you a really quick way so that you can go in and take a look at your competition in your local marketplace so that you can decide how much you need to spend on that ad on a daily basis. So facebook.com/ads/library. And this ad that we were displaying is out of Tucson. So let's just go ahead and take a look at Tucson, Arizona under housing. So we can go to housing and then we'll just type in Tucson. And there is Tucson, Arizona. And we can see that right now we have about 970 ads that are running in this marketplace. 970 is a low result. So 3,000 is about my turning point. So if you have less than 3,000 ads that are running in your marketplace, I recommend running around $10 per day if you're putting an ad out that is going to be running for a long period of time. If you are over that 3,000 houses or 3,000 housing ads in your marketplace, I'd recommend testing at $15 per day and then increasing up to $20 per day, depending on the level of competition that you have in your marketplace. So just to give you guys an idea, you can type in your city after selecting housing and then find out how many ads are currently being displayed in your marketplace on Zillow. Over 3,000, do 15 to 20 bucks a day. Under 3,000, you can do anywhere from $5 to $10 a day, especially if we're looking at like 970. This ad would still produce results at $5 a day. So to expand on this, once you've cultivated that lead, so to expand a little bit more before I get into this actual slide, so when you're running this ad, you want to collect some additional information from those leads. And that was actually listed in the slide before, but I didn't cover it. And so you want to capture the number of beds, baths, the price range that they're looking at in a new home, and their time frame at a minimum. And you'll also be capturing their first name, last name, phone number, and their email. So what this is going to give you the ability to do, especially if you are a KV Core user, and we're going to have this capability in Leads to ROI within the next couple of months through our IDX that we're bringing on, is that you guys will be able to automate your saved search alerts based off of the leads preferences. Now, we have a course that can walk you guys through how to do this in Be Known University. If you guys are a Leads to ROI client already, we've more than likely set this up for you. If you'd like to have those saved search alerts set up, get in contact with William. He can schedule an appointment. And depending on which package you are, there may be a cost for setting that up, but William will be able to determine that time of the call. But you guys can set up your saved search alerts in KV Core based off of the responses that they give to you in that Facebook ad. So essentially what we do is we take that information, move it directly into KV Core, and within 15 minutes of this lead submitting their information, they're getting a list of properties that fit the bill of what they just told you they were looking for. So if they said they wanted a 3-bed, 2-bath home between 350 and 400,000, your IDX from KV Core is going to then send properties to them that are 3-bed, 2-bath between 350 and 400,000. And if it's a 4-bed, 2-bath and it fits the price range, it'll still go out, but it will send with the minimum criteria that they're searching for. I highly recommend following up with these folks with a text campaign and an email campaign. And I would recommend keeping them separate. That way, if somebody says stop or unsubscribe from your text, you can continue sending them email alerts and sending them email notifications so that you can try to see if you can get a conversation sparked up with them. Calling your leads is extremely important. This is actually the very first thing that you should do once you find that you have gotten a new lead. Once you get alerted that you have a new contact, open up your CRM, whether that's Leads to ROI or KV Core, do some research on the lead, find out what they're looking for in beds, baths, their price range, their time frame, and immediately call that lead. Speed to lead is the most important aspect of following up and cultivating your contacts. And so if you can call that lead within the first 2 minutes, you have a 21 times higher likelihood of converting that lead into an actual conversation and making them a client. So it's really important that you make sure that you call and call often and fast with your leads. Another statistic, 6 contact attempts over phone, you have a 90% likelihood of getting that lead or prospect on the phone and having a conversation with them. And that's 6 dials inside of a 2-week period. So extremely important that you guys are calling as soon as you get that lead, and that you're going to continue to call that lead after you get them into your database so that you can convert those folks. The text and the email campaigns are really safety nets to make sure that if you drop the ball and miscommunication with those calls, that text and that email still gives us another opportunity to get that lead on the phone so that we can convert them. Then I would recommend, after you've gone through those initial 6 contact attempts, give them a call once a month, every single month, until you deem that lead is dead. If you haven't gotten a hold of them in 6 months or a year, at that point in time, go ahead and drop that lead. But if you are tenacious with your follow-up and want to continue working that lead until the end of time, by all means, go for it. But just do 1 touch point every month on those contacts. So a homes list. A homes list ad is a great way to cultivate buyers. And think about it, you guys. Home shoppers want to find a house to buy, and this market is crazy competitive. So if you add something into your ad copy about seeing the newest listings before your competition, or being able to see a listing before your competitor is going to give you the advantage on buying a new home, you're going to get people that are going to fill out that particular form, and they're going to submit that info. And again, we ask you to collect beds, baths, price range, and time frame that they are looking to move, so that you have more pertinent information for when you get in communication with them, you can convert them down. So here is an example of that ad, and you can see it's quite a bit different from the IDX. The IDX is super simple, searching for a new home in location. This is going to have a little bit more meat and potatoes to it. So homes for sale in Centennial, Summerlin, and Aliente. Get a list of the newest available homes on the market. Search our user-friendly website with ease to find your new home. Listings are updated multiple times every hour. If the home is listed, it's available. Choose how you would like to be notified. No pressure, no obligation. Click Learn More to receive your list. And then you can see here, see the newest homes for sale is the headline, and different property images from the Centennial, Summerlin, and Aliente area are used in this ad. And you can see our average cost per lead is around $4.15 per lead, which is still about $2 less than the average buyer lead that you would attain from Facebook. So with this particular ad type, it's going to be very, very similar on all of these buyer follow-ups, but they're going to have some slight and subtle differences in some cases. But initially with this lead, we want to do the exact same thing with this lead that we are doing with the IDX catalog ad. So as soon as that lead comes in, create a saved search alert. If you don't have KV Core or a system that you can automate it, just make sure that it's a step for you to go into your CRM and create a saved search alert based off of the criteria from that lead form: the number of beds, baths, price range, and time frame. Make sure that you have a solid text campaign, email campaign, and call campaign out to those folks. Again, call fast, early, and often, and then follow up once a month in perpetuity to be sure that you are working that lead as efficiently as possible and getting yourselves the closings that you want. So just listed ad is another great ad to run and another great strategy to utilize so that you can capture more buyers. And again, with the listing ad that you're displaying exactly what a home buyer wants to see, that is homes, right? So the big difference here is that the buyer is reaching directly out to you, the listing agent. And now you guys, I wanted to put this statistic in here because it is true. Even though you do have an opportunity to for a dual agency here when you're running an ad on your own listing, buyers don't buy the first home that they reach out on over 80% of the time. And that was a Zillow statistic that I learned internally while I was working there. So the very first property that somebody reaches out to, greater than 80% of the time, that buyer does not put an offer in or purchase that particular property. So you're more than likely going to be showing them other homes other than your listing, but it's still a great way for you guys to generate buyer business. and really take your business to the next level. And so that's going to be showcasing an ad just like this. So this is actually Jim Neal, one of our agents. I'm surprised he's not on today. He's usually on our live trainings. But Jim Neal had this listing ad that he recently ran in Florida, in Naples, and the average cost per lead here was $2.80 per lead. So the big thing here is a little bit of information about the property in your actual headline of your ad, or your post of your ad. And so get instant access below to all the photos, details, and more. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 1,800 square feet, right? So we give a little bit of information so that we can wet their whistle and get them excited. They click on it, fill out their information. Again, we're collecting beds, baths, price range, time frame to move. Same follow-up plan with this particular lead type. It really kind of just boils down to if it's somebody that's reaching out on the listing, they're reaching out on an IDX, or if they're reaching out for a list of homes, you're essentially going to have the exact same roadmap for follow-up, which again is going to be safe search alerts, texts, emails, most importantly calls, and then once a month touch base call point after that. Homes that you can buy for your current rent. Renters are an awesome place to generate buyers. Most renters want to purchase a home or attain home ownership, but they don't know that they have several options available to them that can get them across the finish line. So a simple ad that can generate interest to a lead is to provide them have them provide you with their monthly rent, and then you can show them 3 properties that they can buy that match their monthly rent and mortgage payment. So an example of this is going to be this particular ad right here. We ran this for a client of ours in Vegas, another Vegas client, $2.55 per lead, average cost per lead. We generated, I think, 800 total leads with this ad at that $2.55 per lead. We also mixed in, because this particular gentleman was a lender as well with some significant down payment assistance programs. We mixed in the down payment assistance here too. But you can see if you are paying more than $1,100 per month in rent, you could potentially own a home like what you see below. There are several first-time home buyer programs out there. Click below to start building your wealth today. And so this is going to showcase a handful of different properties that would be in the price range of that particular rent. So this is where things get a little bit different. You've put together a unique proposition to these individuals, that you will send out a list of properties to them that fit their monthly rent. So first and foremost, you're going to be capturing, again, beds, baths, price range, time frame. That's all info that you're going to need. But right out of the gate, you will have an automated safe search alert set up. What I would do is go into my database, and I would find 3 or 4 properties that really stand out, that they could potentially purchase for their current rent payment. And I would send those to them in a text directly. And that would be my first point of contact. Then I would give them a call right after I sent that text and let them know, hey, I just sent out a text with you with a handful of properties that you could potentially purchase for the same monthly mortgage as what you're paying in rent right now. Did any of those homes catch your eye? Okay, awesome. What was it about that property that really got your attention? So that way you can start building on the cues of what's going to help you sell this person a home and get them into a new house. Then you can go into Profile and Discover, find out if they've met with a lender, go through LP Mama, find location, price, motivation, whether they're working with an agent, if they've gotten a mortgage started, and then schedule an appointment with them and get them closed down. Make sure you have a continuous follow-up text campaign, email campaign, and a call campaign. We are calling a minimum of 6 times inside of 2 weeks, which will give you a 90% answer rate on average with those leads. The next one is going to be a buyer's guide. All right, so educating buyers on the process to achieve home ownership can definitely build trust from potential clients. Showcasing a streamlined process to home ownership can also assist in building authority in you as the go-to agent in the marketplace for representing buyers. So a buyer's guide ad would look something like this. And Merlene, I made this really quick in your account so I can showcase this. So you can see first-time home buyer's guide from mortgage to moving truck. Get a free report to learn the 5 areas of info and tips for buying your first house. click below to get this free report. So what I would recommend is doing this as, instead of just having them go to a landing page to download this report, I would do this as a lead generation ad. I would capture the same info: beds, baths, price range, and time frame to move, giving you the pertinent info you need to spark up that conversation. Average cost per lead on these that we've seen around the nation is around $6.12 per lead. So it is a little bit higher cost, but it's right at the national average. So still a great ad to run. Follow up for these, you're going to want to do the safe search alerts again, but I would separate your email campaign, and I would do this quite a bit differently. So I would send out a series of email campaigns based off of your guys' PDF guides that you have access to. Now, if you're a leads to ROI client, everybody has listings to leads as part of your guys' backend availability. And everybody has these custom branded PDFs in their account for buyers and for sellers. So we have a workflow that we're going to be rolling out to everybody really soon. William and his team are working on it, so that you will have a series of 5 or 6 PDFs that will go out on your behalf in that campaign, providing them with pertinent information every step of the way. But these are an amazing resource so that you can help educate your potential buyers and give yourself a position of authority in the marketplace while doing so. The next thing that I would do after you've put together those emails and have that email campaign set up, or the first thing you're going to send out, of course, is the buyer's guide, and then a series of additional PDF guides giving them more info and empowering them to purchase. I would then follow up with each one of those emails with a video text. And so I would get my phone out, record a video really quick, and said, hey, thank you so much for filling out your information on Facebook. And I'm so excited to help you with your home buying journey. One of the things that I just sent to you is your first time home buyer's guide as promised. And in this guide, we're going to cover X, Y, and Z. If you have any questions, feel free to text me back here or just give me a call. Anyways, I just wanted to put a face to the name. I look forward to working with you here in the near future. Shoot that quick little brief video for each one of these PDF guides and send that text message out behind the PDF explaining what the email was. It's going to increase your open rates. They're going to view those PDF guides, and it's going to give you a much better opportunity to convert that lead. Again, call this lead as soon as you get it and continue that active follow-up over 7 days, 6 call attempts, and then wean it down to 1 call a month after that until you deem it a dead lead. So beyond a buyer's guide, one of the best ways to educate a buyer is through running buyer seminars, you guys. And so the most effective way for you guys to do this would be to record a seminar and then create an evergreen webinar of that buyer seminar that you can run. And so what that would look like is someone would click on an ad. It would take them to a landing page. They'd fill out their information. Your buyer seminar takes off right then and there on that next page. It starts providing them with information and details. Now, of course, there's a lot of agents that prefer to do these live. That's great. Get interactive with your audience. Ask a lot of questions when you're doing the lives. But the most effective buyer seminars bring agents and lenders together to provide the highest level of education for buyers. And I did say sellers, but I'm going to remove sellers from here. For buyers, while walking them through the process that they are about to begin. So if you're getting ready to do a buyer seminar, reach out to a local lender expert, one of your mortgage professionals that you really trust and that knows their business very, very well, and get them to jump on and do a buyer seminar with you. Have them cover the loan side, getting pre-approved, going through all of that process. You cover the side of shopping for a home, putting in an offer, contingencies, cover things like inspections, all of that good stuff in that buyer seminar. An example of what that ad would look like is going to be this. And you could be a homeowner in just a few months, or you're thinking about buying a home in King County. You're invited to our free home buying seminar. You'll learn about the most streamlined approach to home ownership from local industry leading real estate and mortgage professionals. We'll be live on Thursday at 4/28 at 7 p.m. or on Saturday 4:30 at 10 a.m. Our speakers include Ron, Jeff, and David, all experts in buying a home in King County. Get your questions answered and learn everything you need to know about making the process as smooth as possible. Register today. A good graphic with the speakers, and don't miss this opportunity. Book now. So home buyer seminars typically run about $18.23 per lead. They are on the high cost, but typically you get a really good lead out of those webinars when you have contact, and it gives you a much better opportunity to close, because when they learn from you in that video, in that seminar that you do, you're going to be setting yourself up as a figure of authority in your local marketplace. So the very first thing that I would do once you've cultivated one of these, if you have a live seminar, be sure to send out a confirmation email and text for the day and time of that live seminar, and have a campaign that triggers so that it'll send a couple days before, it'll send the day of in the morning, it'll send an hour before that training, so that way you can get as many people to show up as humanly possible. Make sure that you create safe search alerts based off of their preferences. Again, ask those questions: beds, baths, price range, and time frame. Email campaign with educational, informative PDF guides. Same thing. We want to make sure that we're providing education to these folks even before we get them into a live seminar. And if they've watched one of our pre-recorded seminars, it's extremely important to continue to educate them with all of that info that you had from the webinar and beyond with these PDF guides. Send video texts out to them after those emails go out, just letting them know what kind of educational information you sent to them, so that, again, you can place yourself as the authority and build trust in that lead, so that they decide to work with you. Again, be sure to call them 6 times minimum over a 2-week period, and then follow up monthly until you deem it a dead lead. And so that is going to be what I have today on these particular buyer strategies. I wanted to open up the floor for any questions that you guys may have. Yeah, today was a little bit shorter than we normally run, but I do want to break this down so the buyers, sellers, and branding are in different segments, so that way it could be a single training focus.
I've got another thought if you want to talk about some other lead generation for buyers. The mailbox power campaign that they just added in. So that's another thing that it is a brand spanking new campaign, everybody, but I love the campaign. It looks really good. And one of the things that I think about with this campaign and renters is homeowners get postcards all the time, right? But as a renter, how many times did you ever get a postcard telling you that you could buy a home? I don't think I ever received one in all of my years of renting. And so I think that could be a really powerful campaign. I'm currently testing it with multiple people right now. And also with the custom audience list, or the mailing lists that you can purchase with Mailbox Power, as we've shown in previous trainings, you can really refine that list for your mailing list to have people who have a minimum credit score and have a minimum income level and have job history and things like that. So you could build a list no matter what market you're in. You know, like, for example, Stacia, your market, people probably have to have what, 150,000 a year just to be able to buy a $1.5 million home, right?
I would say more income than that, but yeah.
Oh yeah, and maybe more.
Well, and I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and I thought I'll go ahead and share this idea with everybody else, is that we have certain places, certain, I'll call them areas, apartment complexes, where people live after they're in the process of getting a divorce, and they're going to have to sell their house. It's probably, especially if it's in Tiburon, it's in the 5 million plus range. And, some of these apartment complexes that they're living in are $10,000-$15,000 a month. So I was going to try and obtain those names to actually do campaigns in there and let them know that they can afford houses in the area. Maybe not as nice as what they did have.
Yeah, but they would own their own home.
Exactly.
And so that's my point, is that no matter if you need to make your mailing list start out at 200,000 a year for their income, or you live in a place like Florida where the average home value is 300,000 and good job income is 60,000, right? You can make your list however you want for the market that you're in and mail out to those people. So I'm excited. The tests that I'm going to be doing with the agents that are doing this, we've got one agent who's doing a run of 2,000 people. So that's going to give us a really great idea as far as conversion rates. And then I've got another person we're doing about 500 and some others doing a little bit less. So I will definitely report back with statistics on that, and I'm excited to see. So if anybody else does want to try that as well, please let me know. So I think if anybody else has any questions, please go ahead and ask. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today, and we will see you next week. And again, there is also a support hour tomorrow at 11. So if anybody needs to jump on and get some help, then you can do so. And Stacia, I saw your message. And
okay,
so you
I was just going to ask.
Yeah. So you need to meet with me later than 9:30, correct? Okay. So I will send you a message. What time do you need it to be?
10 would be fine.
10 would be. 10's perfect. We'll move it to 10.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
I'll see you at 10.
See you at 10.